just past the halfway point of spring. How do you feel your defense is coming along at this point?
Well, we're way ahead of last year. I know that. Some injuries have hurt as far as, having guys on the field that we were anticipating on, really taking steps forward. But that's every spring. I do think on the flip side of that, some guys have taken advantage of those reps and really stepped up. There's some really good competitions going on right now in the front. Really good competitions at backer right now, and some guys that have really cemented themselves as, in my opinion, can be great players in the Big 12. So I think that's what spring's for.
Spring sometimes is for spring football games, but you guys aren't having one.
I know, that's kind of sad, huh?
What do you see as a coach? Do you see that as a big advantage to have one? What are some of the advantages maybe of having one as opposed to no?
Well, the advantage would be just one more opportunity to see some of your guys live that you don't get tons of reps on, some of your twos, some of your threes, even fours. So that can help you, set depth charts going into fall camp. It's an opportunity just to get out there and compete, show some physicality. But the majority of the work is done before you ever get to those spring games, and a lot of times we're holding some of our players that are proven. So I don't know that we're necessarily going to miss anything as far as preparation goes, but it's fun for the fans too. That's probably the biggest reason why we love them.
I talked to Eddie last year, and he said one of the big differences that he felt he had, one of the advantages, was he knew when to take risks and when not to in the defense. And he said that as more and more of the defenders get that gauge, the defense would be exponentially better. Are you seeing them develop that sense and understanding to know that balance?
Well, that's still frustration for me. There's still some guys that we're talking about just that, pulling the trigger, haven't watched enough film to know when you can jump things and when you can't. That was a huge blessing we had with Eddie and Camden Garrett last year, that just their knowledge of the defense. And some guys are way ahead of that. Like Batty knows where he can take chances. So does Jake Robinson. And some of the guys that have played a lot, I think, are way ahead of where they were last year this time. But we got to continue to get some of the twos and threes to understand that same concept of where they can be aggressive, where they need to sit back and just play assignment sound. And but that's always a work in progress.
How do you instruct that, or is it an instinctive thing, or how do you help them develop that sense?
Well, we got to create a culture such that guys aren't scared to make mistakes. They're out there letting it rip and trying to have fun and playing the game that they love. So that's first and foremost what we got to do. And then the other thing is, we spend so much time with these guys in film study that when they see what they've seen before and they know they can take that chance, that's when we need them to pull the trigger to do it.
Kalani's talked a lot about the culture of the program. How does that culture off the field impact the on-field product, you think?
Well, I think culture is one of the most important things in college athletics right now. With everything else going on and all the noise that's out there, how close-knit your locker room is super critical. Players trusting coaches and coaches trusting players is super critical. And then everybody having each other's back, that's such an important part of having a great team. And that's again something that we're striving for every day to get better in the culture area.
Do you sense that's an area that's improved this year?
I do. In fact, we made a statement just the other day that this team feels a little closer last year than last year's team, I think. And again, we'll see how that looks going into fall camp with transfer portal and some of those things, but it's something that we're always going to be fighting to get better, is just that unity and that culture that's in the team.
A-Rod talked about how the emphasis offensively is improving the run game. Felt like that really needed to happen here in spring. How does that help your defense if the offense is really trying to pound you guys like that?
A lot. I really like what they're doing offensively. There's a lot of things that they're doing schematically that's tough on us, where they are trying to gain numbers or make looks hard with some of the motions and shifts that they're doing. They've got a lot of weapons that can be like two-way goes, like a Keanu Hill. I mean, the guy can attach in the box and play a tight end, or you can flex him out and play a wide out. That causes a lot of issues. We got running backs that can do the same thing. So I really like what the offense is doing, the schemes they're running. I like the progression of the team right now. I know we're heading in the right direction.
You bring up the offense. I mean, I know you're the defense coordinator, but your thoughts of the challenges that Bohannon and Retzlaff are posing for your defense in this spring?
Well, I think they're playmakers, both of them. They can hurt you with their feet and their arm. And again, you get the downhill run game going like they've really made an emphasis to do, and it just opens up other things. So I think both those quarterbacks can be very dynamic. I'm excited to see how the battle continues to unfold because I've seen great things from both of them.
I want to ask you about Chad Kay and Gary Anderson being here helping you guys out. How much of an impact have they had so far?
Well, isn't that phenomenal? I made a comment the other day. If you're a D lineman in this country, like, I don't think there's a better place than BYU right now to play. You got Sione Puha and Kelly Papinga that I love and have all the trust and confidence in the world, and then you get two guys like Coach Kaha that's been at Wisconsin and USC and UCLA. I mean, his background in D-line play is phenomenal. And then Coach Anderson might be the best D-line coach in the country. And so to have four guys in a room just kind of bouncing ideas off each other, I think is phenomenal. I think it's a huge deal for our defensive line, our defense, and it should really help in recruiting because, like I say, in my opinion, there's not a better place to play D-line than with those guys, for those guys.
Has it been strange seeing him in blue?
Yes. Well, it is. Yeah, exactly. So, you know what? The loyalties are such that we care about the programs and we care about the players. And when we show up, we're all in. And those guys are phenomenally professional about what they do. And so, it's been fun having them back around. And they're great minds to have around. So.
Have you noticed an impact that those guys have had on maybe even some of the older players, the veteran players in the program, guys like Tyler or maybe even John to an extent, who can be a little bit stubborn sometimes for good reasons, obviously, but kind of coaching them up and making them better?
Well, I think the impact's been huge. I think the players trust them. I don't think, and they don't want this, they don't want to detract from the other coaches and what they're trying to get done, but it's just one more brain to bounce ideas off of. It's one more person that's been there, done that, and I think the players feel that. I know I feel that, and Coach Kalani feels that. We're grateful to have that experience around, and I think that's a critical piece of college football right now. So,
Jay, you brought in Kelly. How has he adjusted? Has he done what you expected that he would have done?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's done a good job. Kelly Papinga? Yeah, he's done
Jack Kelly.
Oh, Jack Kelly. Yeah, there is still a lot of Kellys. Kelly Papinga's done a phenomenal job recruiting and coaching. Jack Kelly is exactly what I knew he was, and I had the benefit of obviously coaching him for a couple years. He's super strong, he's instinctive, he's a great pass rusher off the edge, and we still have yet to do much with him there because we got to solidify him in some of the other things that I need him to do, but he's been a big impact already in the defense.
With all the things that coaches do, how much do you enjoy just the spring aspect of it where you're breaking everything down to its, just the steps and eye work and all that other stuff that just you can be a coach?
Well, so this is one of my favorite times of year because I get to be around the players more, and we get to do it in a setting that's intense but a little bit low key as well. We get to spend more time with them in the weight room. We get to spend a little bit more time with them in the film room. During the season, we spend so much time in opponent preparation that we don't always get to spend quite as much time with them that we do right now, and it's one of my favorite times of year because of that.
Do you get an early read at all on the opponents ahead in spring at all, or is that more after spring ball?
No, we've looked already, and on practice days when things are already planned, we get an opportunity to look at opponents that are going to be upcoming. We've looked at some teams that will be playing next year that we didn't play last year already. That will give us an idea kind of how we want to formulate just the breakdown process with each team. We're not going extremely in depth on them yet, but we've taken a look at for sure our first three opponents.
Anything else?
Appreciate you guys.